This video is over Unit 3, Lesson 16. So you should be in Canvas, you should be clicked on Modules, and then you can scroll down to Lesson 16. And here we can see that Lesson 16 is on Mouse Input. You want to click on the first page, which is the Overview page. At this point with this lesson, you're going to learn about using the if and else statement and how you can write code that will respond to a variety of types of user input using the mouse. Go ahead and click Next once you read through this overview page. Now you come to the lesson. In the last lesson, we were using, if statements. But now you're going to go learn about another conditional statement that will take user input with a mouse click. So you're going to have this code that you're going to use. You're going to use the if-else statement and the different codes here that says key went down, key went up, mouse did move, and these different codes that you're going to use in GameLab. So click Next once you're done. Watch the video on if-else statements, and as you're watching that, think of an example of when you would need an if-else statement. So it's very important you watch this video. After you watch it, click Next, and then go through this lesson piece here that goes through exactly if and else statements. So if you look right here, here's an if statement, and if you want to expand it to be else, to add the else, all you have to do is click the plus button, and then you will get the else. So read through here and it will talk about if and else statements. So in other words, if this occurs, do this. Else, do the opposite or do something else. So once you read through that, click Next, and now you are on your assignment page. Go ahead and click Mouse Input and make a copy. Once we look at this one, we can see that we have some skill building exercises to do, practice, assessment, and some challenges. So let's go to code.org. Here we are at Lesson 16, Mouse Input in code.org. Level 1 is an if-else predict assignment or activity. So it wants you to read through and pay careful attention to this if-else statement here, read through it, and then type your answer here of what you think happens when you press the spacebar. What happens when you don't press the spacebar? What do you think? So you type your answer in here, and then after you type your answer in, it will let this Run button become active, and you can click Run and try out the program to see if your prediction was correct. Once you're done with that, then go to Level 2. And on Level 2 is the video that we had in Canvas. But you can also watch it here again if you need help or just to refresh your memory about the if-else statement. Once you've watched the video, click Continue to go to Level 3. And on Level 3 here, this is on Reverse the Gears. So it says these gears already spin one direction when you press the spacebar. Now you want them to spin the other direction when the spacebar isn't pressed. Do this. Make the gears spin the opposite way when the space bar is not being pressed. So the first thing you want to do is you want to run it. You can see here that you have an if statement, but you also want to add something to this. You want to add the else, just as they talked about in the video in the previous page. So if I click Run, it says if key down space. If they press the space bar down, it should make the gears move. So when I press the space bar down, it does make the gears move. But it wants me to move the gears the opposite way when the space bar is not being pressed. Right now, when I let go of the space bar, everything stops. So you need to add, I'll give you a hint here, you need to add the else statement to this. So right down here, you just click the plus, right below at the bottom of the if statement, and it will give you the else. And then you're going to do something. I'm going to give you a hint here. Copy this code, this row for every gear, and you're going to place it in here, and you're going to do the opposite. Okay? So once you have that figured out, I gave you a hint. Here are also, you can click on helps and tips up here, and you can see all this different pages and help that you can get. You can watch the video again. And once you've got it figured out, then obviously, as we've been doing before, you just click the share button and copy the code, and then you want to paste it over to your assignment and hit enter. All right, then we go back to, once you're done with that, go to level 4. And on level 4, this is called Control the Gears. So Control the Gears is the same program that you just did, but with one small difference. Read the program carefully, especially line 13, to figure out how to control the gears. Run the program and test whether you were correct. Make the gears spin the opposite way when there is no user input. Okay? So same type of thing. You definitely want to add, I'll give you a hint, you definitely want to add the else right there. And then once you have that one figured out, so here it is, mouse is down. So instead of the keyboard being down, remember the one before you had key down, it was a space bar? This is the mouse. So when I click my mouse down, my left mouse button, it makes the gears move. But when the mouse goes up, I want the gears to move the opposite direction. So this is super similar to the one that you just looked at in level 3, but instead of using keyboard down, the key down for spacebar, you're doing mouse down. So that's your hint. Once you have that figured out, click the share button and copy your code, your link, and paste it into your assignment, and then hit enter to make that link. Then go to number 5. And on number 5, this one is mouse clicks. Here's a program that drops a balloon down the screen. Make the balloon go up and down according to whether the user is pressing the mouse. So it says do this. Add code that checks whether the mouse is being pressed. Move the balloon up if the mouse is down, otherwise move the balloon down. So this is very similar to what you just did in level 4. So now you know you're going to have to put an if else statement. You know that. So I'll just give you a little hint here. You're going to drop that in, and then you're going to move stuff within there and use your world toolbox, and you're going to use that mouse down because it's mouse down now. So if you want to get a hint on how to do this, go back to level 4 or go back to level 3, and you'll get it's the same type of exercise, except now you're using a mouse click and you want it to go up and down. So if I move this off, let's look at the code first. So let's run it. So right now the balloon's moving down. That's the counter pattern. Okay, it's moving down. So it's moving down one at a time. So +1 is down when you're going on the Y. -1 is up. So again, give you a hint. You need to drop in that if else, and then I'll give you a hint here. That one goes there. So now you have to put the code in here. Okay, and this one says mouse click, so that would be mouse down button, and then you got to figure out what you're going to put the else. It would be the opposite. Once you have that figured out, then you go to share, grab your code, your link to that program, and paste it in. Okay, then you go to level 6. And on level 6, it's world.mousex. The program uses an if block to shake the blender when the mouse is on the left side of the screen. Run the program to see how it works. Add an else to the mixer shake when the mouse, to make the mixer shake when the mouse is on the other side of the screen. So you can see up here what happens. They're demonstrating it for you. So when I click run, right now, when I have my mouse on the left screen, the mixer, the blender shakes. When I go to the right side, nothing happens. So it says pay attention to this if block. Okay? So it wants you to add an else statement. So remember, just click the plus sign, right? And when you do that else, you're going to kind of look at this code right here. This is for the blender. This code here, line 11 and 12. You want to kind of do the same code here and make that for the mixer. And just a hint, your random numbers are going to be different because the location of your mixer is on the right side, not the left. Right? So these numbers are going to be different in the random, but you're pretty much going to copy this in and use that for the mixer. So that's a little hint for you. Once you have this program working, so that when you're on the right side, the mixer also shakes, and the left side, the blender shakes, then go ahead and click that share button, get your link, and then paste it into your assignment. And then go to level 7. And all of these, you could go backwards and look at what you've done before, previously, plus you can look at the help and the tips link on each page or on each level. So on this one, the mouse input, this is level 7. So level 7 says choose one. So you can either do the ladybug walks or the ghost moving with the house. So on the ladybug walks, you can choose one of these. This ladybug walks, as you can see over here, they want to happen is when the mouse goes down to where the ladybug is, then the ladybug moves. Otherwise, the ladybug doesn't move. So it tells you exactly what to do when we click run. And you're going to have to figure out what you're going to put in this draw function. Obviously, you already know that you need an if statement. So make sure you put that if statement in there. And then you're going to input the code like you've been doing. And it says here, use an if block to check whether the position of the mouse, world.mousey, so it tells you what you're going to put in there, right in here, world.mousey. Add code using the counter pattern to increase the bug.x to make it move. So you know you're going to use the counter pattern in here. Okay, so when you got that figured out, if that's the one you're going to choose to do, then you click that share button and get your link. You can also choose to do, this is an or, one or the other, the ghost moving with the mouse. So if you choose the ghost moving with the mouse, then you want that ghost, when your pointer goes to the left, the ghost follows your pointer. When it goes to the right, the ghost goes to the right. So it says write at least 2 if statements to check for the location of the mouse. Make the ghost move in a different direction for each mouse location. So when I click run here, when I have my mouse on there, nothing happens. So you're going to add 2 if statements. So I'll just give you a little hint here. Go ahead and just put 2 if statements there. Just go ahead and drop them in, and then that should get you started. And then you're going to use these counter patterns and drag them into these separate if statements. And another little hint, you're going to be using this world mouse X because X is left to right. Where on the other one, a previous assignment, can't remember which level it was, you use the world.mouse Y. So Y is up and down, and the X is left to right. So you're going to use that world mouse X in your if statements. And then use these counter pattern for line 15 and 16. You're going to use those up in your if statements. So once you got that figured out and it works, as shown here in the demonstration, then you can go ahead and click share, get your link, and then you would paste that into your assignment. And remember, it says here on that you only have to do one. So you only have to do A or B. It's your choice. So once you've done one of those, then you go to level 8. And on level 8, you're going to fix the program. So it says this program should only shake the creature when the mouse is pressed and only show the directions when the mouse is not pressed. So it says do this. Change the code so that the creature only shakes when the mouse is pressed. Change the code so the directions that say press the mouse to shake the creature only show when the user is not pressing the mouse. So if I run this right now, the creature is shaking and I can see the words press the mouse. So the code is here. You just need to add the if-else statement and then move your code around. So just to give you a little hint, if-else, so I would put my if-else statement in there underneath the draw sprites and then just start moving my code. So just so you know, it says left button, it says when the mouse is pressed. So you know you're going to use this mouse down to get your if statement started, and then you're going to have to move this text into this statement so that it shows. So that's all of the clues I can give you, but at this point it's just rearranging some of that code so it's in that if. If this occurs, if the mouse is pressed down, do this, rotate the creature. Else, show the text. So think about what I just said. And when you've got that completed, then click the share button, get your code, and then paste it into your assignment page. And then go to number 9. And on here with number 9, you get to choose, according to the page here, it says choose one from A, B, C, or D. So you can't choose free play. So you can either choose to do the twin spirals, make the spirals move in the opposite way when the mouse is pressed down. Follow the mouse beginner, so you make the B follow the mouse as it moves. Follow the mouse advanced, okay, that's a little more advanced programming. Make the B buzz randomly around the mouse, or you can make this shake the salt. So detect the mouse movement, make the salt shake or shake as you move the mouse. So you can choose any of these. And that is it. Once you're done, then you would get the code for the one that you chose by clicking the share button, copying that link, and then pasting it into your assignment. And that is it for lesson 16. Just a reminder that you can go back to those earlier levels that you completed and look at how you wrote the code to help you with these later levels in lesson 16. So that's it for lesson 16.